It's showtime.
I'm so sorry, Mr. Wright. I'm sorry for what my sister said. Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to, in order for him to get the verdict he deserved. I didn't know. I never knew that the SO9 incident was just another name for the Joe Darke killings. Sounds like everyone's heard about these killings but me. Lana wanted Darke and convicted so badly. That's why she used me. That's why she used that. What happened to me? What do you mean, what happened to you? It's all there in the file. Joe Darke's last victim was prosecutor Niall Marshall. When he murdered Officer Marshall's brother, he left behind an incriminating piece of evidence. But what did you have to do with those killings, Emma? On the night Prosecutor Niall Marshall was murdered, Joe Darke tried to kill me. What? He tried to kill you? Officer Marshall's brother, Niall, was only trying to save me. So that means you... Yes. I was a witness to the Joe Darke trial. I didn't see that one coming. Neither did I, really! Hey everybody, it's the D-Rock 100, and welcome to the first part of what appears to be the absolute final investigation of Ace Attorney from the Phoenix Wright series. Last time, we got to the ladder trial, and we learned more of the SO9 incident. We're gonna talk more about it. Find out more about it. It happened 2 years ago. It was right about this time of the year too. There was a terrible thunderstorm that day, unusual for the season. I was alone in my sister's office. We were planning to eat dinner together when she finished her work. Then suddenly, this terrifying man came bursting into the office. Joe Darke. It seemed like he was running from someone. He pulled out a knife and screamed at me. I didn't know what was going on. Just then, Prosecutor Marshall showed up. Marshall's brother. Joe Darke tried to take me hostage. But before he could, Mr. Marshall tackled him. Then, what happened? I'll never forget it. Lightning struck, and the lights went out. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning flashed outside the window, landing up in the office for an instant. What I saw had then burned a permanent picture in my mind. I can still see it now. Permanent picture. I think I have a hunch what that permanent picture is. I don't remember the moment when Darke stabbed Mr. Marshall. So you weren't able to testify about that? No, I was only asked about when I was attacked. That must be why why she made up the crime. Made it up? You mean provided bogus evidence? The prosecutor's office wanted that guilty verdict so badly. Lana forged the evidence and Mr. Edgeworth used it. Edgeworth? Yes, but I'm sure he didn't know about it, anything about it. He couldn't have known he was being given false evidence. Even So, that's when it all started. The rumors about Mr. Edgeworth, I mean. It's all my fault. If I could have just testified properly, none of this would have happened. So it's true. Even though he may not have known it. Edgeworth really was involved in falsifying evidence. After that case ended, Lana was never the same. She became cold like she is today. She must not have been able to face it up to what she did, especially not to Emma. Failed to testify. Edgeworth didn't know about the false evidence. What did you see in the instant that crime occurred? That's touching some nerves. Darke knocked down Mr. Marshall raised his knife. I watched him stabbed right in front of this poor girl. I don't remember what happened after that. Apparently I passed out. When I came to, Lana was cradling me in her arms. Poor Emma. She's been through so much. I couldn't bring myself to testify about that instant. I tried, but the words just wouldn't come out. I drew a picture, but it wasn't any good. 2 years ago. He must have been 14. That's understandable. Once it was all over, I made up my mind. I decided when I grew up on becoming a scientific investigator. I want to be able to fight crime with my testimonies. And find the evidence and make an all-right case. Or airtight case. That way, Lana would never have to forge any. I see. I'm starting to understand what makes Emma tick. But there's still something that bothers me about that crime. I feel so bad for this whole thing. But this is the stabbing. Out. There's something that's puzzling me, Emma. What is it? You said you were in Lana's office at that time, right? That's right. Why then would a serial killer come roaming in there? Not only that, but he was being chased by a prosecutor. Oh, there's no mystery there. Joe Darke had been taken in for questioning that day. Taken in for questioning? You mean by the police? Of course. This happened at the police department. He tried to run away halfway through the interview and fled into my sister's office. But why did he run all the way over to your sister's office? Because the detective's office and the questioning room are right across from the elevator. Across from the elevator? But Lana was the chief prosecutor, wasn't she? No, silly. Didn't I tell you? 2 years ago, Lana was a detective. She was the best in the entire force. What? That's news to me. Mentions in it that Lana was a detective before becoming chief prosecutor. Yeah, this is definitely new to me. After the Joe Darke case, she was transferred to the prosecutor's office and made chief prosecutor. Lana used to be a detective. I better have another talk with her. That's what we can do. We better have some answers. Because now this is starting to make sense. Lana! Mr. Wright, it seems I kept causing you trouble. Falsifying evidence. I didn't even think you were the type. Criminals don't mind playing foul. Why should we? But Lana, if you're wrong, an innocent person might be found guilty. Believe me, I understand the risks. Lana, Emma told me about you. Oh? About how you were a detective 2 years ago. And how the SL9 incident was the reason for your transfer to the prosecutor's office. That's right. Could you fill me in on the details? Especially about that unusual change of jobs? I suppose you have a right into that, Mr. Wright. A lot of revelations were uncovered at the trial today. Not the least of which was the fact that this case is largely connected to another one 2 years ago. Evidence from that case was stolen. I expected as much. I know how obsessive Officer Marshall can be. That trial, it really wasn't fair, was it? I believed in you, Lana. I believe that no matter what happened, you always stick to the truth. It couldn't be helped, Emma. At that trial 2 years ago, I sold my soul. Well, all drama aside, the fact of the matter is at 5:15 there was no murder at the police department. Tell me it's not true, Lana. What the witness, Miss Starr, said. About you stabbing Mr. Goodman with a knife. Lana, I don't understand. Why won't you tell us? Emma, this doesn't involve just me. I don't think I've ever seen Lana look so fazed before. Talk to her. It wasn't just her. I think that was involved. True, I was a member of the police force 2 years ago. She was amazing. They still talk about all of the cases she and Chief Gant cracked together. Chief Gant? Then he was the vice head of the criminal affairs, but he still worked the crime scenes. Damon Gant, he was everything I aspired to be. They were the best team ever. They solved crimes before the reports could even be filed. Really idolizes her big sister. But now you're chief prosecutor. What happened? I always planned on becoming a prosecutor. The reason I became a detective was to gain experience investigating crime scenes, so you could later use the experiments in court. Gant's help in the SL9 case was critical to it in its resolution. After that, I became chief of police and arranged my transfer to the prosecutor's office. You should ask more about this investigation of theirs 2 years ago. Got inspirations. Former vice chief. Gant. Interesting. Became a prosecutor. Arrangements. 2 years ago, I was second in command of the detectives investigating Darke. Second in command? That means the chief detective was no doubt Damon Gant. Yes, Detective Gant and I shared the same office and the same investigations. They even had in the same office. We led a team of the best detectives on the force. Detective Goodman, who cased in was Marshall and Angel Star. It was the first time Marshall worked with his brother, who was quite gung-ho. Without a doubt, Joe Darke was a serial killer. We asked him to come in for questioning. We were desperate for evidence. That was when the last murder took place. We tried to murder Emma. Prosecutor Marshall was trying to save him from Darke. You see, the first person who happened upon the scene of the crime was me. Talks about the investigation. She was the first. Now you tell us! Detective Gant and Prosecutor Marshall were the ones questioning Darke that day. The investigation was in its final stages, where Darke must have panicked. He waited until Gant and Marshall let the guards down, then fled the room. From there, he ran straight to the office shared by Detective Gant and myself. That's where he found me. So you were the first person to run to the scene, Anna? It appears so. I was filing some papers while Gant and Marshall were questioning Darke. When I returned to my office, I saw 3 bodies on the floor and smelled blood. 3 bodies were found. We can already assume that one of them was Darke, Marshall, and I think an unconscious Emma. 3 bodies. Prosecutor Marshall, the victim, Emma, who had passed out, and the suspect, Joe Darke. Yep. Passed out. During the struggle, it seems Mr. Marshall struck a final blow before he died. Joe Darke had incurred a minor concussion and laid unconscious. What did you do? To be honest, I panicked. I picked up Emma, carried her out of the room, and just held her. Can't blame her after all her sister must have gone through. After that, I placed Darke under immediate arrest. Let me get this straight. You were all involved in the SO9 incident. That's right. Quite a coincidence, hmm? I don't buy it. What are you saying? Something definitely seems out of whack on that one, especially since with all that has happened, but why would Lana go after Goodman, of all people? There's no way everyone involved in this trial was also involved in that incident. Just by chance. But that case was solved 2 years ago. At least one person went to extremes because they didn't believe it was truly solved. Officer Marshall. Yes, his actions came as a surprise to me as well. Ever since his brother died, he's changed completely. Because he wasn't convinced that he was ruling against Joe Darke. Life doesn't end with the closing of a case. Everyone has to live the rest of their lives with their memories. That case just might not be over yet. Emma was assaulted by Darke in the police department, right? Yes, in the office of Damon Gant and I shared. The office of Mr. Gant now occupied by himself. Chief's office. I want to point out, not everyone present during the trial that occurred and concur. The case might not be over. Mentions that Ganson now occupies as a former office as Chief's office. Maybe we should have a look in the Chief's office, the site of the final SO9 murder. It's crazy when one thinks about it, especially since after all we've been through. Just strange. Then I guess we got practically no other option. We gotta head back into the parking lot where the real crime took place. That, scroll on down. Here we go. No one's here today. Not even Miss Starr. Everyone's probably busy looking into what exactly went down in the evidence room. That must be where the detectives are. But we proved in court today that no one was murdered in the evidence room at 5:15 p.m. on the day of the crime. Yeah, I thought we were finally making some headway in our case. But instead it looks like we just ended up making Lana look even more guilty. Hang in there, Lana. I've got to find all the answers by tomorrow. So there has to be something. Maybe we should do some examining here for the moment. Like this ladder, perhaps. Aha! A ladder! That's a step ladder. What's the difference? In scientific terms, please. Scientific... Huh? What's the basic nature of the thing, Mr. Wright? This all seems so horribly familiar somehow. The phone. Here, a phone. Let's see if it works. Hey, don't touch stuff we don't need to be touching. I can't hear anything. My ears. No, my ears. Maybe it's due to the barometric pressure. What's you babbling about? Hello? What did you just say? Look, you can hear just fine. The phone's broken. There's a vent. There's a security panel. Look, a door. This must mean something. I'm not sure that door mean anything. No, it won't open. A mysterious lock. I feel like to say what's mysterious about it. Mr. Wright, you need to learn to enjoy life more. Let's finish our investigation first, shall we? There's gotta be something in that we're missing. The rope, is it? Yep. They laid it in the outline of the victim's body. So wait, the victim must have died when the killer closed the trunk on him. Okay, yeah, we've seen this one already. This area is for prosecutors. I'm not giving up my job that soon. Okay. Oh. That's about as red as a sports car can get. Yep, it's pretty red, alright. The body was found in Edgeworth's car trunk, and the look on the trunk was broken. So the question is, why did Miss Guy choose this car? So what model car is it? I think it was called a sedan, or a coupe. Something like that. Those are car types, Mr. Wright, not models. You're a guy, aren't you, Mr. Wright? You're supposed to know these things. Here's one time I got my driver's license. There's this bus. Pickpocketing is to do with the visitors park. So Mr. Wright climbed over this fence. It seems so, yeah? The fence is 9 feet high at least. Well, no time like the present. I think I'll give it a little try. Yeah! It's okay, don't cry. Maybe there's a Lunchland Olympics team. I wonder. Can we find anything with this? Might not be a bad idea. I need to kind of spray around to see if I can find anything. Oh. Hello? Hello? This blood must be from Lana. No, my sister isn't the murderer! But she did call you, didn't she? At the time of the crime? her right hand is bandaged. Hey, just whose side are you on? This has nothing to do with taking sides. So, this means that Lana's hand had blood on it. It just keeps getting worse. Finds Lana's blood on the emergency phone. Ew. I think I might be onto something here. Also that. This blood. It's my sister's, right? It appears so. Her right hand was bandaged when I saw her in jail. She must have cut herself at the time of the crime. Poor sis. Finds more blood by the car. Both Lana's. Great. I feel like we were onto something here. Because now we got the Lysol. Let's see what else I can find around here. There's gotta be something here that I'm missing, right? I guess there was really nothing that I could do from it here. I'm probably just wasting time. Might as well head to the police department. Because apparently going in there was nothing but a huge waste of time. But then again, might as well look at everything else. Hey there, Marshall. Howdy, Bambina. Oh, Mr. Marshall. Never thought things turned out this way when I woke up this morning. But Sarah, never know where life will lead you, eh, Bambina? Should've known my luck had run out when old Billy dried up this morning. Billy? Must be his pet cactus. Say, where are you headed? Just over to the prosecutor's office for a little interrogation. It's a voluntary It's a voluntary appearance, but we all know I won't be coming back. Sorry. Can't go in the evidence room today, partner. Mr. Marshall, why didn't you do it? Are the prosecutors head west? If ever there was a case I needed to know the truth about, it was that one. Before you turned yourself in, Mr. Marshall, would you mind telling us exactly what happened? Looks like I won't be getting a steak lunch today. Something was fishy about that trial from the beginning. It wasn't just me either. All the detectives thought so. What do you mean fishy? Some of the facts reported were inconsistent with the evidence we found. For example, the murder weapon. The murder weapon? You mean that switchblade knife with the broken tip? That was Joe Darke's. Alright. According to Marshall's words. But in the initial autopsy report, the question was raised. The question? The blade of the knife was not a perfect match for the wound that the victim sustained. What does that mean? It means there's a good chance that knife was not the murder weapon.
However, in the report that was finally submitted, that possibility had been erased. Facts that have been concealed with forged evidence. That case left behind scars on all of us.
Scars that the S09 incident left behind? So it might have been just been a completely different murder weapon.
I got the looks, but he got the brains. He was one of the best prosecutors around. That's just a mid detective when it went down. It was our first case together.
How old was he, your brother?
He was 27 at the time. He was awarded the highest honor that very day.
The highest honor? You don't mean
King of Prosecutors.
not that again?
What are you looking at me like that for? That's an honor for a prosecutor.
Mr. Marshall must have been really close with his brother. The day the S09 incident took place, that wasn't the same day as...
That's right. It was the day of the evidence transfer.
Mentions in that... The day of the murder... 2 years ago. The evidence transfer. Interesting.
It was drizzling that morning, and by nightfall there was thunder. I can't believe 2 years have gone by already. I tried to steal the evidence so that case wouldn't die.
Apparently someone tried to stop you. Detective Goodman was murdered, and the evidence locker was empty.
There was something going on behind the scenes in that case. We all knew though that later. Every detective involved in that investigation, save one, was taken care of. The star was fired and I was demoted and boxed away in a tiny room.
What about Detective Goodman?
If they did something to him too, the commissioner wouldn't get suspicious. No, they were careful enough not to be too obvious.
They? Who are you talking about?
Don't get upset, Bambina. I mean Demon Gant and Lana Sky.
Brings up that Lana and Gant covered up into some commission work.
Chief Detective Damon Gant and his second-in-command Lana Sky. There wasn't a person on the force who hadn't heard of that duo. That case was the biggest step in both of their careers. After the case ended, Lana transferred to the prosecutor's office, right? Yeah, Damon Gant, the new chief of police, arranged for that to happen. She's never been the same since she left. Everyone who knew her said so. Chief Prosecutor Sky was totally different when she was a detective.
Now that he mentions it, Emma said something like that too. Tell me, what happened to my sister?
Sorry, Bambina, but her secret is too well guarded. I never found out.
A secret? It all started 2 years ago.
So there you have it. That's my story. Did you enjoy it, partner?
It was certainly
enlightening. There's one thing for sure I found out in court today. That boy Edroyd isn't my enemy. He was the one who used falsified evidence to get a guilty verdict. But someone else was the one who gave him that evidence and planned everything. That someone is Damon Gant.
Something that Edward failed to realize. Falsified evidence. Delivered him by Damon Gant. I'm willing to bet you he's my #1 suspect right now, because this guy came completely out of nowhere.
Don't believe me? Well, I don't blame you. I won't even be a patrolman after today. Too bad I won't be around to work with you when you become a real scientific investigator. Adios, Bambina.
Great! I miss him already. Great. We're now pretty much at... This is always pretty empty, but today it's deserted. That must mean everyone's busy solving crimes. Oh, if you're looking for the others, you're all in the conference room. Thanks.
Oh, he actually talked to us.
With the chief prosecutor saying what she did and the decision about what to do about Mr. Edgeworth, not to mention her statement to the media in tomorrow's trial, there's more chaos going on than Thanksgiving and Christmas put together.
Bola.
I think festive is the word I usually use for those. Sir? We'd like to have a look around Chief Gant's office. Just head across the hall into the other building and take the elevator to the top floor. Really? You mean it's okay for us to go in there? I mean, we aren't police officers or anything. Hey, you're right. You can't go in there. It's off limits.
Now see where Detective Gumshoe gets his unique charm.
Well, what are we waiting for? Let's head for the chief's office. Okay.
Whoa.
Whoo-wee! This place is stylish! Whoa, where am I? In the chief's office, Silly. At least that's what it says on the door. Check out that pipe organ! That's real, isn't it? Hey, I used to take organ lessons in kindergarten. They used to call me Little Miss Bach. Little Miss Bach? I thought I was a genius until they tried teaching me notes.
I never could remember where C was.
Hmm? Oh, it's you two! Chief Gant! He put the paper in and he was reading it in his desk. So, Mr. Wright, have you been swimming lately? No, I haven't. I've been kind of busy lately. I can appreciate that. I've had my hands full too with Mr. Marshall's misconduct. And that is a provocative statement. Provocative statement? Oh, you mean about the forged evidence?
2 years have passed since that incident. My, how time flies! See that big picture on the wall over there? That's a picture of Lana, Niall, and me.
So this is Mr. Marshall's brother, Prosecutor Niall Marshall. We took it to commemorate our work together. Something's not right with this picture. The vase. And is that a sword? Or at least some sort of dagger? Shows us a picture of him, Niall, and Lana. Something seems off. I can't quite seem to put my finger on it, though. Maybe the vase, perhaps? Picture added into court record. It has to be that vase! It has to be. Ah, crud. Anyway, I'd like to reminisce all day, but there's a matter that needs my attention.
I'm going to lock up here, so let's go out together.
Oh, but this office... There was a crime scene 2 years ago, wasn't it?
That case has been long since been over. There's no need to investigate it anymore.
All the same, we still like to have a look around.
Perhaps you didn't hear me. I said there's no need to investigate it anymore. Now hurry up and get out. I have a meeting to attend.
Looks like you aren't welcome. Seems that case isn't over with yet after all. What do you mean? Chief Gant denied our request to search the crime scene. That means there must be a reason he doesn't want us looking around in there. You mean, like, a clue? There's gotta be a way we can get inside the chief's office. Gex isn't almost like in a panic.
Gotta get back there. To the Criminal Affairs Department. Hey, pal! There's our guy. I always did like seeing Gumshoe. How you doing there, pal / Gumshoe?
Detective Gumshoe, were you in a meeting?
I was, just taking a breather. My feet hurt.
From sitting so long in the meeting?
Actually, I had to serve everyone coffee. Detective Gumshoe's still out of the loop. Say, have any of you seen Mr. Edgeworth?
Edgeworth? No. Why do you ask?
He's under fire from both the police department and the prosecutor's office. So it's like the battles are between you two in court.
That's not serious. Is it because of what my sister said?
That's basically what it all boils down to. That falsified evidence 2 years ago. Now Mr. Edgeworth has the whole world after his blood.
Yikes. Shows concern for Edgeworth about what went down. False evidence.
This guy just can't get a break!
But why would Edgeworth be blamed? It's not like he knew the evidence was forged. Honest guy is the guilty party here, isn't she?
Regardless, the prosecutor is responsible for the evidence he presents in court. Not only that, but as you know, there've been a lot of rumors going around about Mr. Edgeworth. Those who don't like him haven't been able to do anything because of his amazing talent as a prosecutor. But now with this...
Are there really so many people who hate him?
In our world, only those with talent rise to the top. Mr. Edgeworth not only had that, but he's young. There's no better recipe I know of for making enemies.
Probably the of doesn't really be needed. Hey Dick, keep up the good work.
Yes, sir! Let's go out for lunch again sometime. My treat. Yes, sir!
You gotta take me back on that joint sometime, okay, Dick?
Yes, sir!
See, you don't have any problem with enemies.
Yeah, well, I'm careful not to stick out. Anyway, I'm a bit worried about him. Under all this pressure, I'm afraid Mr. Edgeworth just might crack. Actually, I took a look at the file earlier while the coffee was brewing.
You didn't concern it for Edgeworth. Well, did you find out anything?
The only evidence Darke left behind was during his final trial. Well, final attack, excuse me.
His final attack? You mean...
when he killed Prosecutor Marshall who was trying to protect some girl.
Look through him. He has 9 files. Me. Detective Gumshoe never realized Emma was the girl.
That's when he had left the most incriminating evidence of all.
Well, what was it?
Oh, let's see. It has something to do with the murder weapon. Oh, I forget. Look, it's all written somewhere in here, okay? Because the recollection never failed to impress.
Maybe we should show him the murder weapon. It might jog his memory.
Joe Darke was 42 at the time of the crime. He was just a run-of-the-mill businessman.
A businessman? What made him take to serial killing?
One day on his way home from work, he hit someone with his car.
With his car? So, it was an accident.
An accident, yes, but it transformed him into an animal.
An animal? A kid walking by him. Oh my god, Darke came upon the scene and was killed as well.
Finally turned himself in.
I probably should have looked. Mentions some darkness and turn him to be a serial killer. So he went on a killing spree.
Seems he was a pretty careless animal. Of course, this was all conjecture. There wasn't a single shred of evidence. So he turned himself in. Yes, but in the middle of the questioning, he fled and murdered his final victim. Prosecutor Marshall. That crime was witnessed by someone too, but unfortunately he was arrested on the spot. It's a good thing that that last witness wasn't killed.
The last witness? He must be Emma. So now I think we need to present him Switchblade. About this.
Hey! Don't tell me that's...
It's a tag attached to it with the label SO9 incident on it. I believe this one would be the broken murder weapon you were speaking of.
What are you doing with that? Ever since that case was closed, that knife had been locked away in a locker.
Okay, Detective Goodman was right. This disappeared from the locker. It was found in Mr. Edgeworth's car muffler.
That's it! Now I remember what that incriminating piece of evidence was. When you showed me that knife, it all came back to me.
Well, what is it, Detective? Quick, before you forget again. Shows him the switchblade. This knife, it was Joe Darke's, wasn't it?
That's right. We traced it back to the store he bought it at, and it had his fingerprints on it too.
But no one actually witnessed him using it to murder anyone, right?
That's where his luck ran out. When you take a good look at the knife, you'll see it's broken.
You don't have to take a good look to notice that.
Yeah, well anyway, take a guess on where the broken off tip of the knife was found. That's what did him in.
Where was it?
The victim, Niall Marshall, was carrying it inside his own body.
Niall had the switchblade in his body.
It was found deep inside the stab wound.
Did it match Darke's knife?
You bet! Down to the last fiber.
That's pretty conclusive. Obtained in House of Odd Tops. Look, updated. How'd you know? Switchblade updated. And court record.
Well, there you have it in a nutshell. That's all I know.
Can I ask you one more thing?
What is it? If it's money you need, you should ask Chief Gant.
It's not money, but it does concern the Chief. His office is a crime scene, right? It's where Prosecutor Niall Marshall was murdered. The Chief's out now, and his office is locked. but we'd like to have a look around if that's okay.
Well, only the detective's ID card can unlock the door.
What? Really?
But if I let a civilian in there, I'd be charged with breach of trust.
Breach of trust?
Simply put, I'd be canned.
Oh.
Sorry, pal. I don't plan on getting fired because of you.
How about this ID card? It was Detective Goodman's.
That won't work either. The data was deleted the day he died.
Oh. So in other words, Gumshoe's our only chance of getting into that office. What if there's something we could show him that would make him change his mind? Maybe there is something that we can do to try to change his mind. No. No, I don't want that. Stabbed in the back, died from punctured heart and lung. A knife tip one was in the wound. Died from blood loss in under 10 minutes. Weapon found and was missing tip. Between 7 p.m. and 9:30. But I don't think we could do anything to present him for anything on that. At least not yet. Maybe now we can head back to the underground parking lot. Nothing new here. I guess we could maybe head up for the prosecutor's office, since that's usually where Edgeworth would be at. At least I hope. I wonder if Edgeworth is back yet. There he is. It looks like he's writing something.
Huh? What are you doing here?
He sure was quick to throw that paper on the floor. Tough day in court, huh?
I've had to live the past 2 years with rumors flying around.
What's another allegation to me? Sure, Miss Edgeworth, I'm rooting for you.
That's Edgeworth for you.
Always trying to hide his real feelings.
So what do you want? Unlike some people, I don't have all day.
There's no excuse for what I've done. 2 years ago, I used false evidence to obtain a guilty verdict. That's what it all breaks it down to, and nothing I could do to erase that fact. But you didn't know, did you? I mean, that the evidence was falsified.
The police department and the prosecutor's office share a bond of trust. If that bond is broken, we stand to lose everything. The police department's error is my error. My responsibility as the prosecutor in charge. That fact remains the same no matter what excuse I might have.
Edgeworth.
I take pride in my work. So tell me why. Why has it all come to this? Even Edgeworth can't keep his own kind of emotion bottled up.
Brings up the bond of trust with the office and the police. Claims that there was no excuse for what he did, regardless of his actions.
Are you up for the trial tomorrow? First last year's trial, and now this one? It seems that you all do is worry about me. To be honest, you're getting on my nerves.
Mr. Edgeworth, you can't just walk out on the trial.
Tomorrow's the last day. It's too late to change prosecutors. I'll bet that's what my superiors I'm banking on. I never thought in that case it would come back to haunt me like this.
What do you mean?
That list of evidence, it seems too short. Most lists run twice as long. Doing half as long as most lists. That is odd. After Niall Marshall was murdered, I became prosecutor for that case. I may not have been part of the investigation, but at the time there was only one thing on my mind. I used the evidence I was given to prove the suspect guilty. Say, we just saw a picture taken around that time. That picture. Something seems strange about it. Could you tell us again about what happened that day? The day Detective Goodman was murdered. You were participating in a ceremony over at the station, right? I never cared for ceremonies, but I had to attend that one. Because of that? Because you were awarded this? Those receiving awards can't exactly skip out on the ceremony. I finished up at the office in the morning, then drove over to the police department. You finished up at the office? Yes, just odds and ends. Clerical stuff. I didn't plan on returning to the office that day. That is, until I was asked to take something back. Take something back? This. Oh yeah, Chief Gant asked you to hold on to that, didn't he? Yes, it was a piece of evidence in a case that was closed half a year ago. He asked me to bring it back to the prosecutor's office. That story I heard yesterday. So you came back here to the prosecutor's office because the chief asked you to? That's right. Brings up the screwdriver that Gant ordered him to take him back to his office. Case 6 months ago. That paper that's on the ground, I want to check that real quick. Because that wasn't there from before. I wonder what he was writing before. Come on, Mr. Wright. Let's take a look. Are you crazy? Ezra's is sitting right there. Just distract him, I'll check it out. Hey, Edgeworth. Is that Detective Gumshoe out the window there? Oh no, he's falling onto the ground. Hold on. First, let me see what this girl's gonna do and crawling around my feet. He didn't even look. What? Letter of... If you can't read, I'll read it for you. It says, letter of resignation. What? Finds a letter of resignation. Are you mad? Resignation? Andrew, you don't mean... I'm tired, Mr. Wright. I feel as if something inside me has died. But Mr. Aswin, none of it is your fault. I know the path I've walked. You don't need to tell me. And the path I've walked hasn't been a just one. I can't forgive myself for what I've done. And no one else should forgive me either. Oh, I think he's serious. It's right. Please, you have to do something. This letter of resignation. I wonder if I can use it for anything. Adds it into evidence. Andros, you're a fool! But I also want to present you this picture real quick. This picture was hanging on the wall in Chief Gant's office. Prosecutor Niall Marshall. He had just started making a name for himself. Shows the picture in Gant's office. Looks like he was taking it when he received the King of Prosecutors trophy. Speaking of that, there's something that bothers me. Yes? The trophy Mr. Marshall is holding. It's a little different than yours. Oh! Broken sword! Yes, you're right. I remember now. Remember what? That was the official prosecutor's trophy used until that time. There's a story behind it. A story? Sounds
Sounds interesting. Would you mind telling it to us? It's simple, really. Contradiction. That's what the award's based on. Niles had a sword. Edgeworth didn't have one. This award originates from an ancient Chinese tale. In Chinese, the word contradiction is written with two characters. First means halberd, and the second means shield. Interesting. It brings up the origin of the trophy's design. Contradict. Use it in a Chinese meaning. A double meaning. Halberd and shield. So you just had the shield, while Niles had the halberd. Me? Oh, sure. Everyone knows that. Why don't you tell us that, though? For Emma's sake. Very well. Long ago, in the kingdom of Hanchu, there was an arms merchant. One day, he presented the king with two items. The first was a halberd he claimed he could slice through any shield of armor. The second was a shield he claimed could withstand any weapon. Wait a minute. Objection! Those claims contradict each other. Very perceptive. Then again, you've heard the story before, right? Anyway, as you mentioned, the very description of these items discredit them both. When the king pointed this out, the merchant was left speechless, and thus the Chinese word for contradiction was born. Oh, I see. So the chipped shield and a broken knife symbolize... Precisely so. They symbolize the merchant's item. Trophy represents the merchant's items. Interesting. The ancient tale ends with the merchant at a loss for words. But it's in our nature to pursue matters to their conclusion. Even if it results in something as ugly as this. Wow! Thanks, Mr. Edgeworth. I learned something new today. That's funny. If that's so, then why were you only given a shield? You'll have to ask Chief Gant. 2 years ago, he had the halberd part of the award abolished. Chief Gant. Right! From Niles' death! Trophy updated. In records. Now, can we present anything else to him, though? Because I feel like we could do something about this. Doesn't look like we can do anything else on here at the moment, so I think we'll probably do one last location, then we'll finish up. Are we actually going to get something of good use here for us now? Because the first time around was kind of pointless. In fact, we freaking better. Excuse me. Hey! Hey, Angel. Would either you care for a quarter pound of roast beef? Miss Star! In case she's out of lunches. I can actually use that right now. That actually looks pretty good. You're certainly not a curious sort, aren't you? Kind of like the first person who sucked a cow's nipple to discover milk. Ew! Still, I never thought you'd go digging up that case from 2 years ago. Everyone in this trial was involved in the SO9 incident. Not only that, but the murder occurred on the very day the evidence of the case was due for transferal. This can't be attributed to a mere coincidence. Aren't you forgetting something? You know that little scene I happened to witness? The instant Lana stabbed Detective Goodman and with a knife. No matter how much of the past you dig up, it won't change what I saw. Both the species meant to be savored when eaten. It starts a hatred towards Lana. It all dates back to 2 years ago. Joe Darke. That's a name I'll not soon forget. We trailed him for half a year. The pressure. Still, I don't think I was ever more alive than I was then. Those days were steamier than a bowl of hot gravy. Poor old Jake Marshall, though. Must have been going through hell. You mean because of his brother's death? They were close, those two. After Niall died, something took over Jake. He became obsessed. Seeing Jake like that made her all the more desperate. Her, Lana Skye. My sister. The best of the best were put on the SO9 case. Of course, they were led by the legendary duo. Lana and Chief Gant. Mentions in that they were on Darke's case for 6 months. This still can't be a coincidence. That legendary pair was the reason we were able to keep up our investigation. That's why we're so shocked over how it turned out. You mean with the forging of the evidence? Don't get me wrong, Joe Darke had got what he deserved. Still, it was obvious the evidence produced in court was being manipulated. Items our team never found would suddenly appear, while other items were kept secret. But you didn't have proof anything illegal was done. I'm proof enough of what happened. After that case, all of us at Goodman were relieved of our duties. Most without even so much as an explanation. Then Lana Skye transferred to the prosecutor's office, became chief prosecutor. I always wanted to be a prosecutor. Nothing's quite as simple as it appears. Huh? Lana Skye is merely being used as a pawn. That's my take on the matter. So no explanation of being relieved of duty. But thinks in it that Lana was a pawn in the matter. She was being used? Demon Gant and Lana Skye. 2 years ago, Gant was chief detective and Lana second in command. They were the best. They solved all kinds of cases together, didn't they? Demon Gant's magnetism in particular was almost unreal. Magnetism? By that I mean his ability to attract evidence. He produced the most incredible evidence in the case he handled. Incredible evidence? You mean... Oh yes, there were rumors about him even back then. No one dared confront him though. I take it she's talking about forged evidence. Back then, everyone looked up to Lana. All the detectives wanted to be like her. Really? Oh yes, myself included. I was a fool, really. She hated anything crooked, and always had watched out for the other detectives. That's why she was so concerned for Jake. Mr. Marshall. When Jake's brother was murdered, she felt as if she had lost her own brother. If it wasn't for her, I don't think Jacob would ever have recovered from his shock. That's what makes it all the more infuriating. Star. That's why. I'll never be able to forgive her. Why did she have to turn so cold after that? So in other words, brings up Lana's reaction to Niall's death. Almost like a brother to her. Because now that makes sense. Lana transferred to the prosecutor's office was 2 years ago, didn't she? Yes, thanks to Chief, who gains power for influence. Chief. That's right. Having solved the SO9 case, his position as Chief was secured. There was only one thing left for him to control, and then no one could stand in his way. The prosecutor's office. What? You mean, that's why Lana was transferred? If you control the chief prosecutor, you can control the prosecutor's office. Well, shit! He used Lana to control him in the prosecutor's office. He's one sick man! That must have been his goal all along. But how could he control Lana? I don't know, but one thing's for sure. Ever since that case ended, she's never been the same. It's only logical to conclude. There must have been a reason for her change. At last, finally getting close to the bottom of this ugly mess. Think you're a star. You'll listen to me. You listen to me, rookie. It takes more than just ingredients to create fine cuisine. I hope you turn out to be a better chef than I've been. Because now this all makes sense. Well, I think that now pretty much covers it all up. And now, I think we're going to go ahead and we're going to end things off right here. We've now pretty much covered up everything we needed for this first part. So next time, we take it the second part and end this investigation once and for all. See you guys then.